flip side, I don't think it makes sense storyline wise, but if at Wembley Samoa Joe beats CM Punk and he becomes the real world champion, like, does that get you going?
Yeah. Yes, because
I don't know. I guess I can't. For someone to be the real world champion, like the only way this makes sense to me, the only way this entire thing makes sense to me with CM Punk is for CM Punk to have it unified with somebody else, with whoever it happens to be the actual world champion.
Yes.
Like him losing it to Starks, which I would think that their feud is over, but probably not, since Starks attacked Steamboat after the match on Collision. So I'm guessing that's another way to extend the feud between Starks and Punk. But I just have a hard time, like, okay, so how is Samoa Joe now the real world champion? Because Punk got suspended, he was never beat, but then he was beat. It just becomes too it's a little convoluted, but still a good story. It becomes really convoluted, like once people start losing their championship multiple times and you start passing it around as the real world championship.
Well, aside from the real world championship, Joe and Punk is a long-time rivalry.
Yes.
And because in that Owen Hart tournament, so Samoa Joe was not satisfied with the roll-up loss that he had. Mm-hmm. So now he wants to get his comeuppance. And I think that match, God, I mean, 20 years ago, I paid for that in suburban Chicago. I saw that in ROH. It was amazing. I saw the match, and I think all three of us saw the match for the Owen Hart, and it was good. It wasn't
solid.
Great. It was good.
Yeah.
Is it noteworthy enough to put it high on that card at All In? Maybe. But here's the thing about Samoa Joe, which is interesting. So he's trying his best to be a heel, but he's so respected. He gets cheered everywhere.
Everyone loves Joe.
I mean, it's amazing, right? He's not going after us as fans, but he is a badass, and like he's like, all right, I'm a heel, but you guys keep cheering me everywhere I go. I'm the what does he say? I'm the champion of TV. What does he say?
He's the one true king of television.
It's just
like the way he says television. Like again, this is how much of a badass Samoa Joe is. Just the way he says television. Like Joe's gonna kill you. Joe is gonna kill you. Joe is gonna kill. Yeah, everybody loves Samoa Joe.
How about this, bro? How about this? That matchup takes place. The crowd will be 75% for Samoa Joe.
Oh, 100%. And I think it's a middle of the card match. Like, you have to try and figure out where to put it, but like those two are going to deliver on that stage. Like, those guys have worked that match in front of 80 people. They're going to work it in front of 80,000, and they're going to show why they deserve it. But that could be a big moment for Joe. Like, Joe getting a win there, because he hasn't had that big moment yet in AEW.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a couple. He was TNT champion briefly. That's where the whole one true king of television gimmick came from, because he was the ROH TV champ and TNT champ simultaneously. But yeah, if he beat CM Punk at Wembley, that would be the biggest moment of his career. I guess I'm not sure if the real world's championship is actually going to be on the line. I guess we have to wait.
And like
to
I said,
it
makes no sense storyline wise, but it could be pretty cool.
And who did Joe beat for that TNT championship? It was who?
Wardlow.
Who is in a deep depression after losing it a couple times. Did you read this?
No.
Yeah.
Read it. He said it. He's on a panel. It says that like being on TV is what feeds him.
He's been in a deep depression since losing the championship, and that's a shoot.
Yeah, and not being on TV. He mentioned that specifically also.
All you gotta do is just tell the boss, "Can I get on ROH? Can we get some? Pretty much, can I get some shots up?" I think that's pretty much what it is. Like,
we got 7 hours of TV between AEW and ROH. We can't get Wardlow on TV anywhere.
Well, what have we said as a show? If you're a big guy, you don't get a chance. Women and big guys, you don't get a chance in this company, right? How many times have we talked about this? Like, I mean, and somebody like in the chat will give us like an example, but I'm talking about, from Lance Archer to Powerhouse Hobbs. Is he on
Brian
TV?
Brian Cage,
like pinfall after pinfall, just looking up at the lights. Him, like, okay, so he and Big Bill were in a really good match against FTR. All right, but still, they're losing. They're not over.
Right.
I don't think I've ever seen Big Bill win in AEW. If Big Bill's coming out as your tag team partner, bad things are going to happen to you.
And the Battle Royal does not count, by the way. I know someone's going to say the Battle Royal does not count. It just, again, here's what happens, bro. It's you have your company, and you're just buying wrestlers so they won't go to Vince in WWE. Okay, now you have all these wrestlers. What do you do with them with this big roster?
Right.
Guys are sitting at home for months not getting a chance to get on TV. Crazy.
And the thing with Wardlow, he's the biggest example of like a missed opportunity. Like he was so damn over. I think back to the pay-per-view in Orlando, like being there and hearing that reaction when he won the ring and he turned on MJF that night. That was the loudest pop of the night. And the MJF situation sort of cooled him down a little when you didn't know if they were going to have that match to open that pay-per-view. But total wasted opportunity with just like meaningless title runs.
I don't get it.
Yeah. In terms of the question, I think we're all on the same page. I think the Rollins one's going to be more satisfying just because right now I'm guessing Punk wins his match against Samoa Joe and we see maybe a unification, and that ends up being the plan at All Out in Chicago. But that all remains
to that point, then that has to be Cole as the heel because Punk will be a face in Chicago.
Well, I mean,
it's not going to be face Punk versus face MJF.
Well,
right?
I mean, somebody's turning on somebody at All In. I think
Right.
I feel very comfortable in the fact that Better Than You, Baby is going to be ending at the end of the month. It just whoever turns on who, the heel is coming out on top, and they'll get CM Punk in Chicago.
I just know one thing. I will cut off the TV if one of my favorite tag teams loses in the pre-show for All In. If my guys lose, I'm riding. They just won the championships, for God's sake.
Yes.
Come on now.
Yeah,
just for a gimmick? They can't
Yes.
They can't drop those titles.
No, and I think it's going to be one of the most watched 0 hours ever
Yes.
in AEW history because you're putting those two on it, and one of them's turning on the other during the tag team match. And they're setting it up perfectly for it to be Cole because, again, he's told Roddy, hey, you got to trust me. You got to trust me. I know what I'm doing. Adam Cole tells MJF to start out there. MJF is crawling to the corner looking for that tag. And Adam Cole jumps down.
Okay. And so the faction's already ready, right? It's Cole, it's Roddy, and the other two.
It's the Kingdom.
David and Bennett. Oh, yeah, the Kingdom.
God, I can't stand them. It's like, I guess they'll be relevant. I just can't. I can't do it with them. So the Kingdom, Matt Taven, right? Matt Taven,
yep. Former ROH World Champ.
Never been a fan. Never got it. I'm just telling you the truth. Like, it's one of those guys you're just watching me like, I just don't get it. He can work. He probably is a good worker. I think I've seen him plenty. I just don't get it. Maybe I'll get it now if they become a faction. We'll see.